Today we're going to continue on with building out a course, kind of using our outlines for Udemy, doing all of these things. I asked for some topic ideas so that we could focus on a particular topic and work on building a mini course with AI. And I think we're just going to write a fiction book for Amazon AWS. Deborah submitted that, as well as Affiliates Corner. I want to thank everyone for commenting. We can do more of these videos if this video turns out, and if you like it. If you want to see more, leave a comment down below, give this video a like, all those great things. Let's get started though. Write a fiction book for Amazon AWS. Now I just have a Notion document, mini course here, write a fiction book for Amazon AWS. And then we're going to jump back, and we're also going to do a framework or a template for Kindle ebooks. Let's jump into the playground inside of Riku before we get started. And I'm going to go ahead and paste in a framework or a template for Kindle ebooks. Let's do like a 7-step type deal. Fiction books, something like that. 7 steps. So what I'm doing here is I'm building a research library that we're going to feed the playground. So inside the playground, we're going to say provide a framework of how to write ebooks to self-publish on Amazon. You're a best-selling author and an expert in helping people write fiction ebooks. I'm going to go with GPT-J to start this just so I don't burn a ton of credits. 7-figure fiction. This one actually seems to me to be the most enticing. How to use universal fantasy to sell your book to anyone. I like this a lot. Let's go ahead first with our titles. I want to get some titles going. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a few titles. We're going to go ahead and take this title here, and then instead of nonfiction for that title, I'm going to say fiction books. Let's put our output tokens at about 22, and let's go ahead and generate and see if 2 examples is enough to give us a workable title for our course so that we can kind of get started. How to self-publish, what it means, how to get started, and what's next. Seems a little boring, but we are getting some outputs now. Let's open up a couple more. Better, faster author success. How to write a sizzling synopsis. And then I think we're going to need to expand out our tokens a little bit. Again, to do your tokens, you're going to want to go to something like wordcounter.net. You're going to want to paste in your title on wordcounter.net, 136 divided by 4, and that's going to give us 34. So we need to bump this up to about 40 on the token count. How to write ebooks that are easy to read, a simple system for developing a reading skill. I actually like this. It needs to be worked on a little bit, but how to write ebooks that are easy to read, a simple system for developing page-turning ebooks in hours. So let's go ahead and paste our title into Notion. I'm going to give this title an H1 tag. So I'm going to come into my prompt library now, and for Godin, let's see if we have one. Seth Godin book outline. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in, the title for our Seth Godin book outline. Now this is in my private library, and I believe it's because I didn't want to make it public. It produces a lot of errors. However, like here, this is what I mean. Not necessarily errors, just not the greatest material. However, if you come in to try it now, let's go ahead and switch to OpenAI's DaVinci, and let's try this one more time. And here we go. What is a page-turning book? 3 parts. How to write in 3 hours or less. The system. Perfect. Now we've got our outline. We're going to need to tweak this a little bit. But we've got our introduction. What is a page-turning book? 3 parts. How to write an ebook in 3 hours or less. The system for developing. This is going to be the meat and potatoes. Then we also have our part 1, the outline, the writing, the publishing, and then a conclusion. I think I might just do the blog like Seth Godin feature for my introduction, just because I'm curious to see what he has to say. If I go ahead and enter in that as my subject under blog like Seth Godin, again, using OpenAI's DaVinci, we should get something that is workable for our introduction. Now, I'm not going to say that we can do all of this using AI, but I do think we can do most of it. Creating an ebook can be a daunting task. It's easy to get bogged down in the details and spend days, weeks, or even months editing and revising. But it doesn't have to be that way. With a little planning and a simple system, you can write an ebook in hours, not days or weeks. Here's how. Choose a topic you're passionate about. This will be what make a writing much easier. Outline. All right, this is perfect. I'm not going to read all this to you, by the way. I will share this if you're interested. Leave a comment down below. I really like these tips. So now we have our introduction, how to write books that are easy to read, a simple system for developing page-turning ebooks in hours. Next up, what is a page-turning ebook? Well, I think we all know that, but let's go ahead and see what Seth Godin has to say. A page-turning ebook is an ebook that reads like a physical book with pages you can... All right, it missed the ball there. So let's go ahead and go back. Obviously, a page-turning ebook's an ebook you can't you can't put down. It's an ebook designed to be read on a computer. First, it's clean and simple. Last features makes so addictive. All right, so Seth Godin's feature is not going to work for this. And we're going to say you are an expert author on how to write amazing page-turning ebooks. All right, so I just wrote a brief introduction here telling my AI that it's an expert author. So now we need some inputs. So let's go ahead and look up what is a page-turning ebook. Clearly, I'm the one that is looking at page-turning differently from everyone else. To me, a page-turner is something you can't put down. Maybe that's like slang or something. I don't know. How to write an ebook that you can't put down. And we'll do this one too. That should be enough. 3 blogs. So first, regularly introduce problems. So I'm going to get started, by the way, inside of what is a page turner. I'm going to define that myself. So I just wrote this myself. I'm not going to read it to you. It's not fantastic. Page turning ebook, we're just simply defining this. This would be one of those free videos where we leave this as free on Udemy so that people can watch, get a sense of the style and the delivery of the course. Now let's do 3 parts of a page turning ebook. That's where these articles are going to come into play. So I'm going to go ahead and convert this into our toggle heading 2. And then we're going to go with part 1, part 2, part 3. Make your book impossible to put down. Regularly introduce problems. Character reader connections. And that's 2 from that article. Now, I believe we can improve the readability of that. I think what that means is that it's a relatable character. The character faced problems that induce relatable concerns. And then let's move on to another article and let's see what their advice is. 2-part formula, characters they care about and events they don't anticipate. So our third point will be unanticipated events. Then this article says create likable characters, raise the stakes, be unpredictable. And then in here, I'm going to say raise the stakes. So we're looking for page turners. We're looking to keep people guessing. We're looking to keep people invested. And one of the ways to do that is make the stakes higher and higher. And what I'm going to do is build a custom model to help write on how to do this 3-step process. So let's go ahead with our topic, regularly introduce problems, raise the stakes. And let's go ahead and see if we can get something that sounds fantastic. And here I'm going to take this introduction, what our story takes, and we're going to just use that. Regularly introduce problems. This will be our output. A 4-step blueprint to using story stakes like a pro. Let's go ahead and paste this in, and then let's see if it gives us outputs based on our topic here. I'm going to go ahead and test this based on wordcounter.net, see how many we actually need. 797. That's approximately, let's go with just like 300, somewhere in that 285 range. If your protagonist is going to do something that is going to make the stakes go up, you need to regularly introduce problems that make the stakes higher. For example, you can have a protagonist who's working at his job and thinking about quitting, so the stakes go up for him. I don't like those examples, but it's definitely writing about what we needed to write about. For the most part, try to focus on things that can and will happen in a story. The more problems the characters are forced to deal with as the story unfolds, the more interesting it becomes. Of course, there's always the risk that as you write, you'll discover certain problems just won't materialize in the story. Doesn't mean they're not worth considering. We can definitely reword some of that, but I think that's a good framework. And I'm going to do this one more time. This time I'm going to use OpenAI's DaVinci, and I'm going to go ahead and generate. One of the ways to keep your readers engaged is to regularly introduce new problems, which raises the stakes and keeps them guessing. This can be done in a number of ways, revealing new information about the antagonist or the conflict, introducing new challenges or obstacles, upping the ante in terms of what's at stake. So I'm going to come in here now, and that's going to be our introduction. And we'll add our own touch to this as we go on. But of course, I am no fiction writer. So I'm showing you that you can build this with the topic that you're just interested in, by doing some research and putting things together. So next up, we're just going to continue with the same thing, relatable characters. So I'm going to come back here and let's see about some tips. 8 ways to make your characters more relatable. So let's go back to GPTJ, come up here, we'll delete all of this out. And then for our topic, relatable characters, I'm going to go ahead and paste that in for our topic. And let's give it a few examples. So 8 ways to make your characters more relatable. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of these and I'm going to paste in the 8 ways, give them a vulnerability, let them fail, introduce the minutia, give them values. Let's do another one. This time we want to actually write 2 tips for crafting. So we're looking for the 2 tips. Establish a relatable theme. So I'm going to go with this for 1. And then we'll do tip 2 as the last one. Give them an emotional struggle. It's always about emotions. So give them an emotional struggle. That's why the media and the news and all of that is so negative. It plays on emotions, and we all know that negative emotions tend to be more polarizing, more engaging. Unfortunately, I don't agree with it, but it does appear to be true to human instinct. And we'll paste this in. And now we've got our relatable characters. Now let's look at our longest one. I think it's going to be this one here. So 1480 divided by 4. Let's go ahead and bump this up a bit. Let's click generate. The more relatable your characters are, the easier it will be for readers to emphasize and invest in their journeys. They don't need to be perfect or noble. They often include flaws and imperfections, and yet the flaws don't have to be a source of conflict. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do it one more time. That's kind of short, but I'm going to go with that for sure. And we'll go ahead and paste that in. And we do have this one here, the 3-dimensional one I haven't added yet. Let's go back and let's read this. Give them humor. Humor is a great way to add depth and truth. The more humorous you make, the more relatable the intention. In other words, readers should be able to identify your characters on some level. That's good advice. But one of the things that I'm going to do, and there, by the way, it's given us another topic suggestion, how to make your characters real. We could build this out and just keep feeding it and really steer our course. And that's probably what you should do if you're looking to expand. We just go one step at a time. That was good advice there. But what I'm going to do here is we're going to go to OpenAI. We're going to go to DaVinci and relatable characters as our topic. Let's go ahead and generate. It's easy to create characters that readers can relate to if you keep a few things in mind. First, your characters should be relatable on some level. They don't have to be perfect, but they should have some sort of flaw or failing that makes them human. Second, your characters should be experiencing some sort of emotional struggle. That's pretty good. We'll run this one more time and see if we get a better output. What does it take to create characters that readers can't help but fall in love with? Though there's no surefire recipe for success, there are certain ingredients that tend to make for more relatable characters. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste in what the first output was. And then the ingredients are relatable backstory, vulnerable side, ability to fail, sense of humor, self-awareness. I believe that that is going to be pretty good for our relatable characters. Now we just need unanticipated events. How to make unanticipated events in ebook keep reader reading. Let's go ahead and see if we've got anything good here. Stories are pretty much all the same. Something happens that inspires something else to happen that inspires a resolution of some sort. That's 2 good tips. So for unanticipated events, let's go ahead and delete out everything that we have here. And for our first example, we're going to give those 2. And then we'll jump here. Unexpected story events arise from the heart of characters who have complicated motivations and unique methods. And let's just fill this in. We're going to summarize this manually. They're talking about Justified here. That was a good TV show. Use both foreshadowing and misdirection. Create complicated motivations and realistically flawed morals. So what they're saying is you got to create real conflict. Internal conflict within the character. So we'll go ahead and move to the next one. Don't keep your readers in the dark. Instead of keeping readers in the dark, think of a misdirection. So let's go ahead and paste this in. And for our topic, we'll go ahead, choose your subject. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to paste in some of the answers without the titles. 6 ways to write a surprise-based hook. I'm actually going to take all of this and we'll do a third one here. And then what I'm just going to do is summarize this a little bit so that it's not as long. And this last one here, this is the best advice, period, for pretty much anything. Right before you're about to put the book down, that's when you want to hit your reader with some sort of a twist that keeps them reading. And we are approaching 1 hour of doing this, so I'm going to be wrapping this up If you want to see a part 2 to this video though, part 1, the outline, the writing, the publishing, we would get into this in our next video, as well as the conclusion. Otherwise, I can work on this myself, and then we can work on picking up this video series where we actually convert this into more of a mini course. And then we're going to have to go through that mini course and actually write a fiction book for Amazon AWS. This has been more of the framework, the template, kind of what to get into for what we would build. Because now we're going to have to create videos, slides, all of that for doing a mini course. And again, let me know what you want for the next video in this series. So I'm going to wrap the video up here. My name is Scott with aiPROFITz. Hopefully this video has brought you some value. If it has, give this video a like, leave a comment down below what you want to see next in this video series, and we'll see you in the next one.